welcome back to the Hey Fraser Show channel here on YouTube. Absolutely love you. And of course, many of you are listening to the podcast. Some of you have listened to me for a long time. I'm a radio and TV personality, and I started this here podcast and YouTube show 4 years ago. And the Hey Fraser podcast is a comedy podcast all about pop culture, and my co-host AJ and myself, our crazy lives. We have our men on it, mama, the whole thing. And then we try to have like fun guests too. So anyway, that's what the podcast is about. If you want to hear more of my reviews, rundowns, and just some regular weekly relief, you can download the podcast on iTunes. It's Hey Fraser Show. So today I want to get into, I'm obsessed. Here's one thing that you're going to find out about me as we get to know each other. So I am obsessed with documentaries. I do not think there's a documentary that I have not seen. I love true crime. I love documentaries on celebrities. I love documentaries on Lance Armstrong's drug use. That one is so good. Multiple ones on Lance, actually. So I had to watch over the weekend, the big news on Netflix was Miss Americana, which was Taylor Swift's documentary over the past couple of years that she has been working on and struggling with as she wrote Reputation and then dealing with her mom's health issues. And it's an interesting show. It's almost like a coming of age, if you will, of that whole, I guess, of the past couple of years that she's now heading towards 30. So today I'm going to give you like a quick review of it. And I have to tell you, I was never a Taylor Swift fan, ever, ever, ever. So I don't know why. I'm trying to think of what about T-Swizz bothered me. Basically everything. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I think with Taylor, she's just always been a little sticky sweet, like a little too sticky sweet for me. I like somebody with edge. I like a Katy Perry. I like a Rihanna. Like going way back, I'm obsessed with Fleetwood Mac, and Stevie Nicks is like one of the people I'm epic in love with. Carole King. So for me, Taylor never really did it. But actually, I have to tell you, there's three big things of this documentary that I want to get into. One, I think if you don't like her, this documentary is a game changer. We're going to see her in a different light. Two, I think it's very interesting. Two major comics have come out. They were featured in the film just briefly, but enough to make statements in regards to this documentary. And then three, I think that the biggest thing you're going to learn is, which I feel like everyone, men and women, can identify with, is you have a pivotal moment in your life where you feel like your voice is not being heard at work, and you want that respect. How are you going to do it? Are you going to speak up for yourself and what you believe in, or are you going to continue to just sort of do status quo? So the documentary is about an hour long. As I mentioned, it is on Netflix. So the thing that struck me first and foremost that I think Taylor ended up winning me over immediately is her relationship that she has with her mom. So I am a sucker for that because my mom and I are like best friends, and it was clear throughout the documentary that Taylor and her mom are besties. And if you follow this story of Taylor in real life, you know her mom was diagnosed with cancer a couple of years ago. Now, you all watching probably know, maybe somebody can leave a comment. I don't know what type of cancer, but I do know in the past couple of months they have revealed that her mom's cancer has returned in the form of a tumor in her brain. So that part of the story, I think, immediately got me so hooked. I feel like it was completely relatable. And for me, I never found Taylor Swift really relatable until this documentary. So her mom travels with her on their private jet. She goes to live shows. She's in conference rooms deciding about Taylor's image, what Taylor's going to say. They're clearly very close. The only downside I can say to the mom at all is she decided that she wanted to get a Great Dane. This thing is the size of a small pony that they put on a private jet, y'all, okay? Who in God's name wants a Great Dane on your private jet? That thing takes a shit the size of LeBron James. Where is that going? You're going to tell me you're going to be on a plane for 8 hours with this massive Great Dane, like just dumping on the plane? I don't think so. That part of it, I was like, this is absolutely crazy. And even Taylor was like, yeah, it's been my mom's dream to have this dog, and I'm not really sure why. They get this horse onto the private jet. How? I mean, they must have to like lower a ramp to get this damn thing in. So that was the only part of, Mama Swift. I like Mama Swiss, actually. Mama Swiss cheese. Mama Swiss cheese. That was the only part with the mom that I was just like, okay, this is a little weird. But anyhow, so that was the first thing that she won me over. The second is this story is all about Taylor Swift being told by record executives for years in Nashville that she needed, that good girls and nice girls don't speak up, they don't become political. And the first time that Taylor's ever sort of thrown into anything where she would have to step out of her image and say something was when Kanye West interrupted her at the MTV Music Awards when she won Album of the Year. And he got up there and he was like, Beyonce should have won. She had the best song. Two things happen, all right? One, we're reminded what an asshole Kanye West is, all right? I mean, I was taken back by, okay, great. Kanye, you were super obnoxious. And the best is I'd actually forgot from that clip that Kanye says that and then he sort of looks around for reaction because what you find out is Taylor thought that the crowd was booing her, but in fact they were booing Kanye West. So Kanye, you see additional footage where he's standing there sort of shocked that people aren't on his side. And it's like, yes, you egotistical little maniac. No one else is on your side. It's a good thing he's a priest now or like a preacher or whatever he's doing. And I've been to his Sunday service and y'all have redeemed yourself with that choir because otherwise you'd just be a big dick. So we see that, and she doesn't even know what to do after the fact when she is talked to by press. She doesn't even want to say anything negative. She says, I don't want to start anything. Girl, this was your moment to be like, that motherfucker needed to get off the stage. She was like way taller than he was. I mean, he looked like the dump that her Great Dane had just had, and she should have kicked him off the stage. So that sort of sets it off. Then, as we get to an election year in 2018, she, wants to, I actually think it was before that, she kind of wants to get in the political sphere. And she's from Tennessee. There's a Tennessee representative that is ahead in the polls that is like anti-gay marriage, anti-women's rights, doesn't want like equal pay for women. How are you a woman in 2020 wanting this bullshit? I think it was actually 2018. Minor point. So, what? Anyway, she does not want this. So Taylor decides she is going to get political. And she's got her dad there. She has her team there. And they're basically giving her all the reasons why she shouldn't do it. And then we see her mom and her publicist there. She fires off a tweet that she's going to get involved and she wants people to vote. And she's anti this woman. And that sort of starts Taylor Swift like speaking up. Now, all the articles I've read about Miss Americana, the documentary since, they've basically said that her brand has been strengthened by this, by supporting the LGBTQ community, by coming out in favor and support of women's rights, which makes sense because most of her audience is female. So I liked that. I do think the only like part of the documentary for me that got a little off track was at some points, I think, of course, she's a human being. So just because she's rich and famous and has this amazing private jet and amazing apartment in New York City, it doesn't mean that she doesn't, she doesn't get sad that real things aren't happening with her family. I thought at times with Miss Americana, you're like, okay, it's a little difficult to be sympathetic for you because you have a lot of perks and advantages. And the fact that you didn't think, or no one in your record label at some point said, every artist is going to get backlash. And also, I think they made a little bit too big of a deal in the documentary of her stepping out and making a political statement. Artists and actors and actresses from the beginning of time have been making political statements. I mean, from Jane Fonda to Richard Gere to the Dixie Chicks. I mean, she's not the only person to do that. So that was the only part they started to lose me, I thought, a little bit. I wanted to hear more. The thing that you're not going to see in the documentary is I wanted to see more of the drama between Scooter Braun. Scooter Braun's record label, of course, bought the rights to some of her original first music. She came out, put out a big thing that Scooter's a slimeball. Then Justin Bieber jumped in. That's not going to be addressed in Miss Americana. I'm going to need a sequel. I want to see that part. But you didn't get that. The other moment for me that I thought, I have two feelings on this. One, I thought this was a little counterintuitive to what Taylor's message was supposed to be in this documentary. It was supposed to peel back the curtain, show her vulnerable, show her finding her voice, did all that. But it was also supposed to be women empowerment, body empowerment, sticking up for yourself. And in one part, she openly admits that she had an eating disorder back in the day. And now she no longer looks at photos of herself because it triggers going into a space where she will not eat. So they use clips of comedians Nikki Glaser, who I love, and Jenny Johnson, who I also love. Does anyone remember back in the day when Jenny Johnson used to troll Chris Brown all the time? It was really good until it was like not politically correct. Anyhow, so in the documentary, you get a quick clip of Nikki Glaser speaking about her weight, and then Jenny Johnson, I think, talking about how annoying she was. And this is all part in the documentary where people are beginning to turn on Taylor. Like how do you all remember every time she'd win an award, she seemed shocked, like, oh, me? I want me? Okay, girlfriend, you know you're talented as fuck. You're out there singing live. You're banging on the piano. You got you've got some dance moves. You write all your own songs. I mean, you write every lyric you lick. I mean, now you're talented. At some point, you're going to win something. So they use those two comedian clips, and I did not think it was fair. I thought immediately it's completely edited for her narrative, which it's true. I think as a radio host, we used to talk crap about her back in the day. Everybody did. That's what you do if you're a commentator or you're a comedian. So Nikki Glaser and Jenny Johnson, you can go to both of their Instagrams. They're very easy to find. Put up statements that they were so sorry. I thought this was interesting because they are comedians. They do this for a living, but they wrote very long, in-depth apologetic messages to Taylor, both of which I thought were very sincere, but even took me back. Both women, Nikki and Jenny, said that their clips were taken out of context. So true. Nikki says that she's been a long time fan of Taylor Swift, absolutely loves her. And Taylor ended up commenting on her Instagram over the weekend, thanking her for the apology. And Nikki confessed that she's had an eating disorder. I think every woman, every girl has had an eating disorder. That was the only part. I could see it twofold. I understand these interviews are hurtful to Taylor, were hurtful, but I also think like those two women, you know what they do. It's not like Michelle Obama was like fat shaming you, you know? And you know that all of Taylor Swift's fans were coming after Nikki and Jenny. I don't think that was the reason that they were apologetic. I think Nikki and Jenny are strong enough women that if they didn't want to apologize, they wouldn't. But I didn't love that part. I thought it was really nice that Nikki Glaser, what she wrote, and Jenny, but I also thought, Taylor's a woman with even more power than they are, and then to sort of take their clips and use those two women's image, you knew the backlash they were going to get. But anyway, it seems that the women moved forward. Taylor accepted the apologies. So that part, I thought was one of the more interesting fallouts that have happened from this documentary. And I'd love to know how you felt. You can always weigh in on the comments, or you can follow me on Instagram. It's at HeyFrase, HeyFrase. And you can hit me in the DMs. You see her current boyfriend at the end. You don't see a lot of her other past relationships and how they influenced her work. I would have loved to have seen that. Haven't we dated everybody? I mean, I guess they had like a quick clip of some of the boyfriends. Honestly, there's been so many. I can't keep up with who she's dated, who she hasn't. But you don't get into a lot of relationships. I wanted more of that. Does Taylor Swift have any siblings? I don't know. I didn't see them on there. I'd also like to know that. Those were the other big things. I wanted to see relationships. I wanted to see something about Scooter Braun. You also do see more of the video that was posted where Kanye West and Kim said that Taylor gave permission to them to share her, or that he could basically say that Taylor, they could still have sex. But she does a good job, I think, of addressing that. And of course, Taylor, that's the thing, is like Kim and Kanye are big enough. If you're going to go after them, I think you're on an equal playing field to some degree, but then going after Nikki and Jenny, not going after, but using a clip in a way, I think everybody knew that was editing that documentary that probably that would get backlash. But overall, the themes of this, the one big thing is speaking up for what you believe in and finding your voice, and also for Taylor to become comfortable, which I could completely relate to. There is still this pressure for women to behave, to not step out of line. And I think she did a great job in the documentary of stepping out of line, of revealing more of herself. And honestly, you know, I mean, I'm sure you guys are too, but I'm thinking and praying about her mom so much because I've been there. I lost my dad to esophageal and stomach cancer. So I know that battle, and you just don't want to lose them. So I really hope that they continue to have that great relationship. But there's a little recap of Miss Americana. I hope you've watched the documentary. It is still available on Netflix. You can check it out. Be sure to leave me all your opinions and thoughts. I love to read them. Leave it below and subscribe and turn on notifications to this Hey Fraser Show YouTube channel. Bye, everybody. Bye.